Need a net?
Get ready. We hook up north of the border. Today, the story behind a Lake of the Woods gem. We've got Wiley Point Lodge and the lake's big fish on our brains.
How pretty is that?
Your Minnesota Select GMC dealers present Due North Outdoors. Here are your guides, Bill Shirk and Ron Schara.
Hey, welcome to the show. Glad you tracked us down due north.
Sometimes you have to travel far to get to the best spots.
And in the case of a place called Wiley Point, a Lake of the Woods destination, and it's kind of the point of the trip. And the long journey is half the fun.
Some adventures seem righteous enough to make even Huck Finn blush. Lake of the Woods sits a massive and maybe a little bit quirky 70-mile body of fresh water. The lake borders Minnesota, Ontario, and Manitoba, a place where goods and people move at a different pace.
That's how stuff moves around this lake.
Every summer, we load the boats with gear and friends and run the lake's main east-west route out of Sioux Narrows.
We call it the Wiley effect. As soon as you come around the point on the corner here and you see this big lodge built out of nowhere, I mean, it makes you just go, wow.
Wiley Point sits tucked away in a quiet cove, a giant 5-star lodge hidden on the lake's western waters. We dream of the 5-star accommodations and a cushy vacation. But really, we come for the fishing. Today we split 15 friends between 6 boats, including guide Claude's.
I've been here for 25 years, but I've fished for over 50.
Claude's Claude, I mean, he's a legend.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Good luncher. Oh, yeah.
He fits the bill as a typical Canadian fishing guide, and I mean, people love him. He gets requested all the time.
Claude puts clients on fish, period. Too bad the old cliche applies. You know, the one, you can lead a horse to water, but...
Oh! You gotta set that hook.
Dang, it didn't get your minnow though.
Well, you know the rest.
Need a net?
I think I'm snagged too.
Got a crawdad. Look at this.
Funny thing, because just across the hump,
First fish.
we hook too many fish to count.
I'll grab the net.
That's Mike Diamond. And that's Bob Hot Hands Joyce. And that's our pile of fish on the bottom. We have lunch in the live well in no time. Heck, I set up a yard sale to help the other boats, just in case they need a little of our help. Yep, gold proves the color for the green boat. Fishing's so good, we start to run low on minnows. Hold on to that, Bob, we need it. I had planned to pawn extra bait off Ron Schara, but it looks like his boat's running out too. Guess we need a break. Wiley Point guides have that covered too. Shore lunch gets cooking on a tiny island oasis. By the time food is served, we find ourselves on Wiley time, without a worry in the world, and simply watching life and the boats roll by.
It is absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
You know, the stress of life that we all deal with sometimes just kind of goes away.
Due North Outdoors is presented by your Minnesota Select GMC dealers. Runnings. Aquarius Water Systems. Wally McCarthy GMC. and by Rapala. Your Minnesota Select GMC dealers present Due North Outdoors.
Wiley Point might be one of Lake of the Woods' most established and fanciest fishing lodges. But even here, you can still get off the grid.
Wiley Point Lodge sits a literal Lake of the Woods icon. But this five-star fish camp might be a small part of a much bigger fish tale. Actually, a story about a family.
I like to call it the Ritz-Carlton of fishing.
Meet Eric Brown, proprietor of Wiley Point Lodge. Eric has loved Lake of the Woods ever since the early 1960s, when his father purchased a family cabin. 20 years later, the family upgraded.
And in 1978, we bought Totem Lodge, and I took it over from my dad. I've been here 36 years, made it the only five-star lodge of all lodges, because I was a 25-year-old kid that didn't know anything. So because I didn't know anything, I just kind of ran with it, you know?
Over the years, Wiley flourished. One lodge became two, and eventually three. The Totem Lodge family now consists of Wiley Point, Totem Lodge, and Yellowbird. The family also runs a remote outpost camp.
The thing that I love the most is that I've got to turn over Totem Lodge to my son Eric, Yellowbird Lodge 17 years now to my daughter Stephanie, and of course my son DJ, the youngest, he's been out at Wiley 5 years now.
I have honestly one of the best mentors in the world right here. He has what I call the contagious plague, and that plague is enthusiasm, and the passion he's put into this, you can't help but feel the same and want to carry that tradition on.
Same story with brother DJ.
It really is. It's gorgeous out here. I mean, we live and work in the best place on earth, in my opinion.
DJ runs Wiley Point, luxury rooms and cabins with a view to boot. Every summer, our television team visits. We think we always return for the fishing. But really, when you think about it, we come for so much more. The food, our friends, after-dinner shenanigans during social hour. These trips, really, it's about the people.
And that's one of my favorite things, is to see familiar faces every year. It's almost like friends coming for a visit.
Just how I feel about Keith Davison, about the only guy on the planet I'd allow to drive my boat. On a glass, calm evening, Keith, Eric Johnson, and I skip after-dinner festivities to fit in a few extra casts.
There's a bunch of trees down here. The wind's blown down a lot of trees in this channel.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take a few casts at each tree.
What are you gonna throw, blades?
See, Keith has a bit of a wily reputation.
Got more muskies per acre than I think most lakes out there. I've had seasons where I've had over 100 so on this lake.
Eric and I want to see just one.
Can't beat this. You gotta outsmart them more than any other fish.
Exactly why Keith puts in a lot of casts during summer months.
Nights I'm out at least 6 of the 7. My girlfriend is very understanding.
She is understanding. And here is why.
She actually stays home in Southern Ontario. Just coming there, just coming there. That's why you should fish Lake of the Woods.
Nice job, buddy.
Thanks.
How much fun is that for you? I know
A
you've
lot.
done it 100 times.
It doesn't matter, yeah. Gets funner, if that's a word.
There you go. What more do you need to say?
Due North Outdoors is presented by Joe's Sporting Goods, Northwest Ontario Tourism, Insurance Brokers of Minnesota, and by Border View Lodge. Time now for the Due North Road Trip, brought to you by Wally McCarthy GMC.
Catching fish in Minnesota's North Country tends to be an easy task to accomplish. Surrounding Bemidji, Minnesota, there are literally hundreds of fish-packed lakes to choose from. But if you want to add something to your walleye dinner, hook up with the all-season guide Matt Brewer. He'll not only take you to the hottest bite in town, but he'll show you some wild edibles to add to your platter. Now there's almost always something growing from the Northwoods floor, so as long as the grass is growing, he's going to be out there picking. But the peak season runs May through August. If you go at it alone, make sure you double check what's safe to eat and what to avoid. We wouldn't want your wild edible hunt to go bad. Call it a Northwoods Surf and Turf. Bemidji, Minnesota, today's Due North Road Trip.
Time for today's Due North Insider, brought to you by Rapid Marine Group.
I want to let you in on a little secret that I think is going to help you out big time this summer. Rapala Lures sold more jigging wraps than any other lure last year in the entire country. This used to be considered an ice fishing bait. Not anymore. Guys have figured out that they can use it by pitching it out and jigging it back in, or vertically jigging it below the boat. We've used a lot of their famous baits for a long time, but the secret is out on the jigging wrap. Walleyes love it, spring, summer, fall, or winter. Who would have thought this ice fishing bait would be the hottest walleye lure in the entire country? Give it a shot this summer. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Due North Outdoors is brought to you by Rapid Marine, Leech Lake Tourism, and by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light Beer, the official beer of Due North Outdoors.
I think it's just the beauty. I mean, as soon as you come out here, you're surrounded by nature, the water. I think what people really like out here is you don't have your vehicle while you're out here. You pretty much have your boat that is your car while you're out here.
Zipping away from Wiley Point Lodge and up Lake of the Woods, we head for a quandary. See, in fishing, seems getting them to bite is the real trick.
Got to do gold. Gold's been our color this trip.
But the opposite applies on a connecting lake called Shoal.
So do we want to do something on first fish?
Yeah, I would say $5, huh?
Okay.
Shoal's reputation lies in bass fishing.
I'm just trying to find a reason to take more of you guys' money.
Travis McKenzie and the guy with the bum shoulder.
Sore from pulling in fish.
Jeff Doherty and I want to see why so many people talk about Shoal. Who's gonna catch the big one? Our answer comes almost too quickly.
Got a little
piker.
Little piker to start.
Not bad for 3 casts.
Let me grab the net for you.
You got that on tape? A couple bucks going around here. Pure excitement, adrenaline rush.
Because Shoal is a lake of few casts.
Smallie! We are going to have a smallie. There you go.
That's a nice one.
Danny, so much fun. So Travis, that's what one looks like.
Now I know what a bass looks like. You get spoiled, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing.
How's it feel?
Substantial?
In Jeff's crankbait cast,
Oh, yeah.
the Shoal Lake quandary.
It's just ludicrous.
See, walleye fishing is off limits. They're protected in shoal.
Jeff, that was a catch of a lifetime right there.
We don't celebrate, we don't snap a photo. Instead, we move off the spot.
I'm thinking we go try another rock pile where we've got plenty of bass. DT16, one of the best deep edge bass baits ever made. I can't get it to the smallies. So he's just taking line.
Boy.
Good gracious. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I thought it was a smallie.
See what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny. It's it's hard to fish other species. The walleyes, sadly to say, that they get in the way of your other fishing.
There it is. Woo. Dang, Jeff. Is he using the same stuff we're using? Smallie?
No.
Another walleye.
It's like a competition out there for your bait, and the walleye seems to win more than the other species.
How hard can you try to catch a smallie? It's like when the rock bass get in the way of your bass fishing. It's just instead of rock bass, they're 28-inch walleyes. I'm switching to the most finesse bass thing I got, drop shot. We know they're bass here.
There we go. That's a nice one.
Whack.
That's a real nice one. Yep.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's a bass. All right.
Good job.
One's lucky, two's coincidence, three's a pattern. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, get the net. Do these bass make my muscles look big?
Attaboy.
All right. There you go. So that's what ye old shoal is known for. Good gracious. Woo! How pretty is that?
And a great way to end our week on Lake of the Woods. Visit Wiley Point and maybe, just maybe, you'll start to understand. It's the lure of Ontario, and specifically, a place we affectionately call Wiley.
It's gorgeous out here. I mean, it's like living in a postcard every day. It really is.
So much water and so much territory to explore.
Sure is. That's why it's always so popular. Well, we've come to the end of the trail, so don't forget to set your compass due north.
And be sure to take the time to introduce someone new to the great outdoors.